So we're both recording.
Cool.
Okay. Well, here we are. So I'll explain a little bit about what we're doing, right? Right. First of all, I'm Alex, and this is Daniela, and we are on Zoom together to talk about. Or rather to focus our energy into a space that goes beyond all the stuff that we might, the best word I can come up with at this particular moment is bullshit. The kind of, the stuff that is going on that kind of is demanding our attention, whether that's war, whether that's something that we're unhappy with, whether that's manipulation that we've noticed, whether there are so many things that many of us are focusing on as things we don't want to be happening right now in the world. And connected to this is an idea that I didn't come up with, but a lovely lady called Sophie told me about, which is the words that she used to describe it are beyond the plank, and that relates to the martial art where you break a plank of wood with your hand. And the idea is that the way to do that is not to focus on the plank, but to put your energy and attention in the space beyond the plank. And that's how you get through it. That's how you break through. So the space that we are intending to enter is that space beyond the plank. And we're going to treat it a little bit like a game. Well, it is a game, a very serious game, but a game nevertheless, when we are not going to use negative language. So if there's something that we don't like, the rules of the game are we're not allowed to say not this, not that. We're not allowed to say not war, for instance. We're not necessarily going to talk about war, but we need to then put our energy into what the not war looks like. So it's all positive language, as in the opposite of negative. I'm babbling a bit, aren't I?
Okay. I'm excited about this.
I'm excited too. And the other part of this is the idea that what hopefully it will inspire other people to do the same, whether it's with me, whether it's with Daniela or elsewhere. And let's just keep doing it. Let's just keep putting energy beyond the plank. Okay, let's do it. And the tricky bit is where to start, isn't it?
So Alex, what's the first thing you say is different now than in the past?
The first thing that's different now. Okay, let me find a hook. Okay, because I'm now a little bit nervous. All right. So I am going to actually, the thing that keeps coming to me is the idea of healing and how that works. So how it works is that, and this is the tricky bit, because I'm straight away going into that we don't do this, we don't do that. So I have to shift my focus and go, right. Healing is part of everyday life. Healing is something that comes as naturally as eating and drinking and, well, breathing. I think to never say anything in negative language is difficult. So I'm going to use it as a push-off point, right? So I'm going to say that healing doesn't necessitate naming ourselves as unwell. Healing is simply something that we engage in naturally and easily. So, for instance, if we go out and we walk down the street, there may be a cafe, there may be a food shop, a pharmacy, whatever, but there's also a space that we can just enter in as though we were going for a coffee and join in a healing process. And the thing that is coming to mind to me at the moment, partly because I just get quite excited about it, is sound healing. So it might be a place where you just go in and stand or sit and listen, or join in. And that could be people using instruments. It could be people using their voice, whether it's chanting, singing. Let's go for dancing as well, huh?
Mm-hmm.
And it's just understood that it's to do with raising our vibration, focusing on joy and elevation and the communication that happens in those kind of spaces, with the understanding that whatever may be causing dis-ease or disharmony is it's not commensurate with that space. So that will be encouraged to fall away without any need to focus on it. What you focus on is the pleasure and the joy and the process of what you're doing for as long as you want to do it. Maybe you pay, maybe you don't pay. And then when you're done, you go. And you carry on with your day. That's something.
Mm-hmm. That's beautiful.
So does that appeal to you?
I've never thought about that, but it makes a lot of sense, because I too think that, and there's just such more emphasis on health in a way that is integrating, Eastern and Western medicine, and in a way that is more, I don't really like the word holistic, but that's kind of what it is. And also from people are taking more care of themselves. They're just there's much more like people. I'm not sure how to describe this. People are much more connected to themselves and with each other, and they're just more aware of what is important, what is truly important to themselves and to life, and to the community, to all of our planet and the universe, and thereby inviting in this connectedness, and having different priorities, healthy priorities. So yeah, I think it's also from an energetic level first, so people are not even getting ill or diseases anymore that quickly, really, because it usually comes from the energetic level first before it manifests in the physical. So because people are taking more care of themselves and preventing issues in that way by just being aware and conscious of their beliefs and thoughts and anything that might cause them to be feeling unwell. So people are just quicker in reacting towards what they're inherently feeling and what's going on an energetic level. So yeah, I do believe that would be, or that is, that is absolutely something that I see as well. Just kind of stations where you can, when you feel you need some, what's it called, some replenishment, you just stop and go for that in the moment, and then you're safe to continue with whatever you were doing, and you're replenished and strengthened and revitalized to go on. Does that make sense?
You know what, I love that word, replenishment. I love it. And it made me think of I know we are not cars, but just cars, it's you when you're a car, or when you have a car, you've got to take it to the petrol station periodically, right? It's replenishment. That's such a beautiful word.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is feeling good. And one of the questions that's coming up, and I don't have any answers, but so we're talking about replenishing ourselves, and I guess being aware of our energies and being in balance or being out of balance. But what I started to wonder about is, okay, how does that translate into community? Because there's an element of when we engage in the kind of healing that just by its very nature raises the vibration of an individual, presumably it also raises the vibration in, you know, beyond that. So I'm thinking about intention and how just simply having a space where people can, or well, people do, all right, this is happening, isn't it? So where people do enter and engage in something that replenishes themselves, certainly, but it involves other people too. And how does that affect the community around? Whether other people are choosing to engage in that particular activity or not. And I suppose this, I mean, we're talking about things that are happening now as a part of what we're doing, but it occurs to me that they really are already happening now, I suppose.
I don't think I know what you're talking about, what you mean.
Do I know what I mean? It's something about, you know,
because I'm hearing intention and I'm hearing community, and there were so many important words in that. But what's the underlying thing that we're talking about?
I guess the underlying thing is that it's a dual intention. So when we engage in a process with other people, which heals us or raises our vibration or whatever, it replenishes us, then by definition, I guess it also replenishes other people, whether they're there or not.
Because we're all connected.
And the whole point, I guess there's something about if that's a conscious intention or if it's just understood. I mean, I don't know how it works, but as we're playing this game, maybe I could say, well, it is the case, whatever my doubts are right now at this moment, it is the case that engaging in this kind of stuff would heal the whole community. It just is the case. We just know it. And when you know it, then it has more effect.
It is the case, and at the same time, everyone is participating. It's not like 10 people out of 100 are healing the entire community, but everyone is taking their part, and that is just natural because it's their values and the way they want to be in the world as well.
You're right. Why was I even going there? This is why it's so much better to do it with somebody else, because there was just, I just had this belief that not everybody is going to engage, but okay, we're beyond the plank. Of course, everybody engages. Yeah,
everyone is just so much more heart-centered. I don't want to say much more, but everyone is just so heart-centered and connected, and therefore it's just by intuition, following their own intuition and following what feels right to them and what feels right to who they're wanting to be in the world. So it's just easy and natural. It doesn't come with plans or organization or structure.
This is a really joyful space to be in, because as you're talking, and it keeps coming back, actually, the idea of, well, how does one encourage people to do this? Is it part of the education? But no, it's even I said at the beginning, it's as natural as eating and drinking and breathing. So why am I even worrying about this, right? This is just the constructs, the programming that just keeps coming in. And I'm like, no, actually, there's no need for any of that.
There's no need for ego, and everyone understands that we're all connected. and that everyone's behavior has an impact on everything else as well. So it is just a totally different level of existence.
It's beautiful. And you know what's really interesting is that as you were saying those words and I was really getting into that space, or I should say I am in this space, then so many of the words and the concepts that belong to the society that we're not talking about just fall away. And it makes you realize how redundant or unnecessary so many of the concepts that we in the past have taken for granted and just think, well, that's just part of a society, right? And I know I'm doing what I said I shouldn't do. But what it does, it leaves a space. It leaves a space of potential, I guess. But it's how many words are necessary, actually?
None, and that's the other thing that is very much in my line of existence also. I totally love that people aren't communicating as much anymore, not in a verbal way, because it's just so much easier to communicate telepathically. I kind of know what you need, and I know what you think, and I know what is going on and what is the best thing to do, what it calls for in the moment. I just know because I'm connected.
And we agree, we all agree.
There are different standpoints, and everyone, is still an individual. So you're doing your own choices, but at the same time, you're just connected to the awareness and consciousness that underlies everything, that goes through everything.
This is kind of fun because I think, how does that work? We've got the that understanding, beautiful, and we've got individuality.
Yes, and people are thriving for what's best for the community, for everything, for the planet, and that's the main goal, because everyone is, following their soul and their heart. So it's not even an issue that people are wanting to be the best or fastest, or following their own desires or needs in a way that is hurting the community or anything, because they know when they hurt the community, they hurt the universe, they're also hurting themselves.
I love this.
They just embody the entire idea. And yeah.
So what I'm feeling now is also having a joy in other people's achievement. Is that a good word? I don't know, but maybe abilities. So I have an absolute joy in your ability in, okay, I'm going to say something a bit silly, skydiving, right? And I don't need to skydive, but I love your skydiving, and I celebrate how your skydiving, what it brings to the rest of us. Mm-hmm. And I don't need to worry about my ability to skydive, because I have a great joy in my ability to to what? Trampoline.
Totally. And just saying, I'm not a skydiver yet. And also, if I, just do something for my fun and pleasure, I'm still doing it because it raises my vibration, and I can be a better person when I'm having fun and when I'm connected to my inner child, and just enjoying life as well.
So when I see that, when I feel your joy, it gives me such joy that I will do what I can to facilitate whatever it is that you're doing, because it's a pleasure to see your joy. It gives me joy, and it raises the vibration of the whole community.
Yeah.
It's very simple, isn't it?
Yes, I love living in this place.
Me too. Me too. And what's suddenly coming to me is the idea of children.
I was just going to ask, she's already working. I was just going to ask, what is your experience about schooling? How is schooling, education going?
Well, I suppose part of it's beginning with questions is, do we separate in the way that in the past we separated adults and children? So we used to put children into a separate place to learn what it is that society thought they ought to learn. Do we carry on with that, or is the whole concept of education something that's more integrated? So I'm getting a feeling of there being spaces where adults and children work together. And this is where this whole idea of leadership comes in, I guess, that that how we learn from each other is by doing things together. How does that look? How does that look? So when we bring children into a space of where the primary intention is to for them to learn, I was about to say to be taught, but actually it's not to be taught, it's for them to learn. I see it much more as being an integrated part of the community rather than not. So as they're learning, they're doing, there's less sense of preparing them to do. They do from the minute they exist, which might be a bit ambitious for a baby.
Maybe you can talk about that a bit more. So how is that playing out?
How is that playing out? Really simple concept. When we prepare food together, we're all learning, right? And there's a sense of every time a family prepares food together, there's transmission of knowledge on some level or other.
So it's this learning by doing.
Learning by doing, yes.
Learning by being around people who know, and just being educated on the job.
Yes, 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 and yes, and also we have a sense of this interconnectedness of things, that mathematics is a part of, I must be hungry maybe, of cooking, you know, that physics is a part of building a climbing frame, and obviously more advanced stuff as well. So we've got all this interconnectedness between us as beings, but there's also this absolute understanding and acceptance of the interconnectedness of different kinds of knowledge, that none of them exist separately, that they all have a place. So building stuff is a good example, I guess.
That makes me think of the meditation experience you shared with me earlier, the wolf thing.
Should I say it?
Yes, would you mind speaking about that? Because I absolutely love that.
Yeah, no, it was beautiful. And yeah, it was I was doing something, I had in mind that we were going to have this conversation today, but then I went off and did a meditation about something else. But this came in and it was so clearly about what we're doing. And I had this sense, it was less a vision and just rather than a feeling of running with a pack of wolves and that in the beginning of this experience, I was a leader of sorts, but was leading from the center of the pack. And it was leading just simply by knowing what it was that we were doing and doing it. Not from the front and not from behind, but from the middle. And other people, we were all sharing the same understanding of what it was that we were doing. And I happened to be very familiar and able to communicate what that was and to be leading, for want of a better word. But that changed. That changed when what we were doing changed, or the context, maybe the landscape changed or whatever. And the leadership just got passed on to another being without any conversation, without anything particularly happening, apart from just very simply this understanding that this being would be better in this context, and then so on and so on and so on.
Mm.
So, and I mean, the most beautiful thing about it was just this level of understanding of that's how it was at that moment, and the next moment it wasn't. It was something that was suited to the circumstances.
There's so much that I love about this meditation experience. And one of those things is everyone is still an individual and bringing their own skills to the community, and you're just passing on, and everyone kind of naturally takes over, and it doesn't have to be discussed or anything. It just happens because everyone just knows this is the right person or wolf for whatever is happening at the moment. And that's just so beautiful.
Oh, it feels beautiful. I'm just feeling that now.
Yeah.
And what I'm loving about this conversation, and okay, it's a little bit tricky, I think, because I have to keep reminding myself to talk about what is happening, not what we don't want, and realizing how difficult that is. But then and I know that we're recording, so I'm a little bit nervous, but still, then there are these moments of course, and it's so simple and it's so obvious. It's everything else just falls away.
Yes. It's like everyone has taken a step back, or several, many steps back, and watching from a totally different perspective. Gone from ego to a soul level, heart-based, more connected level.
Yeah.
And still, not everyone's exactly on the same page, and everyone's got their own journey, but we're all connected and combined by those heart-centered values, really, and the wish to make this planet a good place, a nice place where we all want to live in peace and harmony with the environment, with the animal realm, and just getting connected to nature is super important for everyone as well. And just by that, being grounded and connected to the upper and the like to the universe and to the earth, as well as with every being itself, is just causing people to think, believe differently.
And the more that we're talking about it, and the more that we're connecting to this, what we're creating, the more it just seems like there isn't any other way to do it. This is the only way that makes sense. Which I'm just wondering.
Because it's true also. It's just people have learned by now. People just have learned to reconnect with themselves and feel themselves again. So it is just truth for everyone. There's just no other way.
Now, I've got a question coming up now also, which is how do we experience, I was about to say deal with, but actually how do we experience disagreement? And I'm just wondering if there actually is any disagreement, but divergent ideas, say, or because I heard myself say, this is the only way to do it. And I'm going, what if somebody else is,
Interesting.
my neighbor's going, this is the only way to do it. So either that doesn't exist, or we have a different kind of relationship with divergent opinions and beliefs. How do we do that? How does that work? Because there's joy in that as well, isn't there?
Yes. So there's two sides to that, or two things that come to my mind. One is that we're all connected to the higher truth and there's no ego involved. So we're kind of all on the same going the same direction. And at the same time, there might be different beliefs or different ideas or different ways. And, my way might be different from yours, but it's still okay for me to go my way or for you to go your way. And I'm just accepting of that. Because it makes total sense. You're a still different individual and you have different ideas, and what is the best way for you might not be the best way for me and for everyone else. So still people are on their own journey. It's just that we're dealing, I don't want to say dealing either. We're just handling that differently, and it's just it's what you said earlier. It's this, of course you've got your own way, and of course you've got your own ideas, and that's totally fine with me, and you're free. You're sovereign and you can do what you want, and I completely understand and support that.
Yeah. And is there what's it's funny how these things come up like little seeds, and I'm like, I'm not quite sure what this is going to grow into yet. Something about, when you have things rubbing up against each other, and it's through the rubbing up against each other and debate, maybe even argument, and I'm not thinking argument in a positive way, then new stuff comes up, right? So there's something about the joy. I'm thinking almost like a joy in I'm completely with you with what you just said. I'm wondering if within that there's also a space to go, okay, here's a place where where we're rubbing up against each other, but it's through the kind of it might even be a little bit rough, but we enjoy it, we appreciate it, and we like it, and we get excited about it, and we go.
I'm thinking of the fairies, the way we imagine them, they're just having fun and playing around, and they might be arguing just for fun, or just to rub each what's the expression?
Rub each other what? Rub each other up the wrong way? Do you mean is that it?
I don't know, but just kind of butting heads a bit for fun. Yeah, totally.
Yeah. I'm enjoying it.
And also, there might, someone might be in a bad place and, just not have a good day. And then the others will still see them in their best light and will see their higher selves and speak to their higher selves in order to, I'm not sure if that's actually true, but I could, it might be a possible scenario that someone's not, emotionally down or something, and then others are just seeing them in their highest light and talking to their higher self, and thus empowering that person and bringing them back into the light that they are.
Yeah, I like that. I really like that. And I think it's really important that you brought that into it, because sometimes when we engage in sort of utopian kind of stuff, it's almost like we even talking about things like sadness I'm thinking about, okay, the range of human emotions. So sadness, anger, things that we put into the category of bad, right? Even envy, I don't know, all the kind of stuff that can come up. That a sort of utopian kind of conversation can pretend it doesn't even exist.
Oh, no, I'm I'm not an advocate for that, because I love
No.
all the emotional spectrum that we've got access to, and that is part of our existence. And I don't know, it kind of feels boring just being, happy and content. And I don't know, I think that something would be missing from life if there were no
Yeah.
challenges at all and no ups and downs. Yeah, no, I don't think that's what it's about. It's just the way people are dealing with each other and acting towards these situations. And I do believe every emotion is important and has got its value. And that's how we grow. And that's how our environment also communicates with us. If something makes me sad, I can look into that. If something makes me angry, I can look into that. It's just about how we react to these emotions or whatever is going on.
I guess what I like is this idea of allowing them, because what we used to do often is go, oh no, that's a bad emotion, let's sort of almost like surgically try and remove it from our being or project it.
That's gonna stick forever. Yeah, that's gonna stay.
So that again, this sense of celebration, right? We maybe not have a party if we're feeling down. Yay, I'm really depressed. But it's about acknowledging and accepting. And no, but there's also an element of celebration, I suppose, and an understanding that it's through what you just said, looking at them, giving them the space to exist without trying to suppress them, that we grow and we learn from each other. Yeah, there's a lot of freedom in that, isn't there?
Yes.
And yeah, you're right, it's how we act. So we may feel and acknowledge thinking about something that could potentially be destructive, so envy or jealousy, say, but it's what we do with it.
See, and I'm not even sure about envy and jealousy, because we realize that we're all connected. So if you have some sort of an achievement again, I can cheer for you and celebrate you, because that is raising the entire vibration and helping me as well. So I'm not sure if there are just no envy and jealousy in a bad way. It's more like that it can be causing us to be more ambitious, for the lack of a better word. Like if I see something in someone else that I like, it's more that I can still be proud of them and love what they're doing, and I still feel like, oh, I want that too, and then I can strive for that myself.
That's the key, isn't it? I want that too.
Yeah,
I don't want to take that away.
I don't want to take it away from them. I don't have to put them down in order to feel better. It's more like, oh, I love that, I want that for myself, so maybe I can get it. And if it's something that I can't, because I'm tall and I might be seeing someone who's just short and I love them being short, I'm like, I want that for myself and I can't have it. But I can still be fine, or I'm still be fine with them being short and me being tall, because I see the what is it, the benefits of each, and everything's got its benefits to it as well.
That's so true. You know what? I feel like we're not even doing this anymore. We're just describing the world. I don't feel like we're playing a game. I just feel like, yeah.
Already happened.
It's already happened.
On some level it has. Yeah, not everyone's aware of it yet, but we're getting there.
That's perfect. It has happened. You're right. And all we've got to do is be aware of it or tune into it.
Saying that, it hasn't even happened. It was always there. It's not probably not anything new. We've always been connected. There's always been this awareness. Only now is the time for us to reconnect and make something of it. And there's always been people who were, individuals who were connected, and who did have this knowing and wisdom. And now it's for us all to unlock that and go there.
Is that a good spot to finish? That's perfect. It just feels like it's so perfect. I'm like, yeah, she just said it.
Do you feel we've covered it, and do you feel we've created what you were hoping for?
Yes.
Cool.
And I mean, what was really fun is the idea that setting the parameters of the conversation, but not knowing what's going to be in the conversation.
Mm-hmm.
And also maybe I was too wedded to the idea of, oh, this is going to be a little bit tricky. And then certainly in the beginning, it felt a little bit tricky. So that's something to think about for next time. Why did I even think that? But I did, and now I don't.
That's so cool. Yeah, I also love that you brought up the idea of, it's just not all utopia and everything's beautiful and wonderful and there's no bad emotions or anything.
Yeah, but I suppose the difference is that we like them.
Yeah, we
see their value.
We like them, we accept them, we see their value, and we work with it differently and react to them differently.
Right, when we finish this and I'll just go out, I'm just going to go out and walk down the street, and I'm going to be looking for this place to walk into. And you know what? Maybe I'll find it. That would be kind of fun, wouldn't it?
Oh, I have. There's one thing that comes to my mind. What would you say? So who is running the country or other countries? Like, are there countries, and who is running them?
A very good question. Let's think. Well, what do you think? Are there countries? I would say yes, because I absolutely I think there are cultures. There are different cultures, because one of the things I've always loved about our world is the differences between different cultures. Similarities, sure, but also the differences. How wonderful is that? And I'm sort of hesitating a little bit, because I don't want to start spouting out stereotypes about different cultures that will upset people. But I think stereotypes are always generally seen as negatives. But if we say that, of course, there are, the weather in different parts of the world is going to affect how a culture develops. Stuff like that. And even the music of different cultures, the language of different cultures. I don't know. I like, okay, we're in the present, right? I like diversity. I really, really like diversity. Yes, so and then of course, if there are different cultures, then there's an element of choice, because we may not all feel equally comfortable in all cultures. And that could have geographical implications too. There's different landscapes, there's different weather patterns, there's different foods.
Yeah.
So are there countries? I don't know. Certainly cultures, I'd say. What do you think?
Yes, absolutely. And I was going to say believe. No, it is it is our reality. People are living in communities that reflect their interests and their where everyone can bring in their own skills and things, and where we all support each other. So it's smaller, it's more connected to nature, and making use of everything that nature has got to offer us. What else?
Freedom.
Definitely freedom.
And freedom to choose which culture you want to be a member of for however long, until maybe we want to.
Yeah, you're not sad. You don't have to make a choice and stay there for forever. It's more like whatever you feel like, and you evolve, and then you might move on or find something different. Just feel it's more smaller. Can I say no big cities? What else? So I don't. There's no rigid borders. Like this is this country, and they've got these rules, and this is that country, and they've got different rules, and so that is in no word, but it is more fluent and spacious, expansive, open, free, sovereign. Yes. And then who's running? Who's in charge? I believe it's kind of like what you said earlier. It's like the wolf pack, where the leaders are in the middle, and I believe with the wolves it's like the order, the sick ones are in front so they don't get lost, and the fighters in the back so they can take care of whatever is happening, and the leaders are in the middle, in the center. And it's kind of like that, protective of those who need protection, and then the ones who would take care of things, and the ones who lead. And it might switch and take turns depending on whoever is the fittest for the job, or the most experienced or wise or whatever.
I'm getting really excited, Daniela. I'm
Yeah,
glad you moved into that. I'm loving this, and I'm loving this idea of the communities, the cultures, whatever they are called, and what we were saying about the individual and the sense of interconnectedness. I'm thinking about that it's like so self-evident, it's so obvious that if there's a part of the country where there's a drought, there isn't enough water, it just goes without saying, there's no negotiation, it just happens that other communities help out in whatever way. So what happens on an individual basis also is happening on a community basis, and that different communities have different talents, I guess. So maybe this one here is just wonderful with technology, and this one here is just wonderful with this understanding of ecology, but it doesn't even need to be negotiated. It just happens that of course they share, of course. There's no question, and that's freed up such a lot of time, and energy, because it's just, I love it. I don't, it's sort of the same, but selbstverständlich, right? It's just
she's speaking German.
But there's not even any question. It just happens. You don't even have to ask. Because and then this sense of interconnectedness and communication. So
I love that word, interconnectedness or interconnectivity. That's such a lovely word.
It's beautiful, isn't it?
It is, yes. Love it.
And then in terms of technology, I don't even know, because if we've got a sense of knowingness, and with an interconnectedness, one does know if there's something wrong over here or something out of balance over here, but it might be slightly trickier on a worldwide basis. So maybe there is, I mean, no, not maybe there is wonderful technology as well that works in harmony with nature, right? That
Yes,
doesn't
absolutely.
take things.
Yes, yes. And, we use technology to support us. We're not run and controlled by technology. I think that's the huge difference as well. And I wouldn't want to go without technology. And another thing, traveling, I wouldn't want to miss traveling either, and meeting, other cultures, or, different ways of being, different people, and seeing other countries and nature and all of that. So yeah, that is still happening for sure. And yeah, we're making use of universal energy to run this technology in a way that is supportive and energizing.
Yes. I love this tech. I'm just wondering, I'm really loving putting my energy into loving this tech without having any concept of how it works. But then, or any understanding of what it actually is. But I certainly have infinite trust. I mean, I just whether we're actually engaged in what we're doing right now or not, and I don't know about you, but I have an absolute faith that it is possible, that it is most certainly possible.
Yes, yeah, it's already happened.
It's already happened. It's already happened. And it didn't need me to invent it, because that is not particularly my strength, but
I know, we can use it.
we can use it. And we contribute in our own ways, in whatever way that is, without having understood, even though it's happened, without having understood at this moment what it was. But I'm getting myself muddled up now in
Yeah.
future, past, present. It's like, it's all the same, isn't it?
Yes, it is. After all, it's, everything that's going out, it's just going on. It's just an illusion.
But good, what we're talking about is a good illusion, right?
Yeah.
I like this illusion.
The illusion that I'm choosing.
Yes. And that's an aspect of this whole thing, isn't it? That every moment we're choosing, every single moment we do anything, we're choosing. And okay, it becomes as natural as breathing, but the constructs that inform those decisions are just clear.
Mm.
They're very, very clear. And yeah, I'm happy.
Me too. Yes.
Shall we stop now?
Yeah,
let's stop now. I think we should just stop without even saying anything to wind up. I think we've come to a good place. All right, stop recording. So what are we doing? We're just having a little feedback session.
Yeah.
Your brilliant idea. I like it.
How are you feeling, Alex? And how did you feel about this exercise or this game?
I love it. I think what I was surprised about was how difficult it felt at first, especially. And it's partly being nervous, knowing that we were recording this, knowing that we're intending on sharing it. But also it's almost like this, it's not a trap, but this trap of constantly falling back into, I don't want this, I don't want that. And I found myself, I had to stop myself all the time doing that until we'd done it for a while, and then it became easier. What about you?
Mm-hmm. I love doing it, and just talking about it makes it so real, and makes it so, I feel uplifted, and I feel exhilarated. It's like I'm excited about this future, and about going through the plank and having that vision like a carrot kind of in front of us, and just swim through whatever's coming towards that, because that is happening.
Yes. Oh, I feel really, really, really good too. I'm so grateful. Thank you.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, it feels great.
And I truly do believe that by doing something like this, we're actually putting energy into it.
Yes, so true.
Because and part of what I appreciate about finding it quite difficult to start with is that that's part of the plank. It's almost like, why is it difficult? And I think it's just habits.
Yeah. So
It's
part
just
of the
habit.
illusion
Yeah.
is, learned behavior, everything that we've been conditioned and programmed to. And we're just starting to set ourselves free from that. So it's
Feels good.
yes. Yeah.
So maybe we'll do it again.
Yes. Yeah, let's do it again.
Okay, you're on.
And let's make it a weekly thing to focus on our vision for the future, which makes it easier to go through the day. And by that, putting energy onto the future that we're creating.
And let's see if other people want to do it as well.
Yeah, perfect.
I'm kind of excited to see this spread. A bit like we always think about viruses as a bad thing, right? But I think a virus can be a good thing. So
Absolutely.
let's spread the love.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you, Daniela. That was really fun. Okay.
It was.
I'm going to press that stop recording, right? Okay.